The boss, however, walked up to her and told her to face the wall and not turn around, or else her salary would be at risk. After seeing the woman obediently comply, he then told the bodyguard to turn around too. The bodyguard immediately did so, pointing his large backside at the boss. The boss then began entering the safe's password, occasionally sneaking a glance to see if they had turned around, and then opened the safe door, only to find it empty. His face changed with anger, and he questioned the woman about where her money went. The woman certainly couldn't admit it, so the boss forcefully cornered her, telling her to think carefully before answering. The woman had no choice but to lower her eyes to show her attitude. After seeing this, the boss immediately instructed his bodyguard to search her. The bodyguard received the order, slowly walked up to the woman, turned her around, and began checking her from top to bottom. But when he reached her pocket, he paused for a moment, then turned to the boss and said he found nothing, and then let go. The woman walked to the side, hands in her pockets. After looking around, the boss came over, picked up the woman's handbag, and after checking her expression, dumped everything out. Seeing no money, he could only bend down to open the ventilator on the table, instruct the secretary to bring over the surveillance footage, and then have the bodyguard close the curtains, while he walked up to the woman and took off his jacket. The nervous woman kept clutching the cloth in her hand, and the bodyguard approached the blinds where she hid the money, scaring her into closing her eyes. The bodyguard told the boss that the blinds were broken. Hearing this, the woman couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. The boss had to try turning the blinds himself, but they were stuck. Just then, the secretary arrived with the surveillance footage, and the boss had to give up and let the secretary come in to speak. Took the notebook from her hand, the woman then worriedly looked at the blinds, then made a feint and fell against the window. A sack of money happened to fall down, and the woman quickly picked it up and put it behind her. Then when the bodyguard looked over, she hurriedly explained, but the boss told her to be quiet and not to speak. He continued watching the surveillance on the computer and saw the bodyguard leaving the office with a golf bag. At this moment, the woman slowly approached, and while everyone was not paying attention, secretly stuffed the money into the golf bag, then said that the golf bag was so big, it must be hidden in there. The boss simply didn't believe it. The woman had no choice but to say, "Why only suspect me? Isn't it normal to hide things in such a big bag?" The boss had to say that he arranged for the bodyguard to come. The woman, who was looking down, couldn't help but glance at the bodyguard, but under his intimidating gaze, she shrank back. At this moment, the boss asked again, "Are you still sure there's money in the golf bag?" The woman hesitated for a moment, then stiffly nodded again, which even made the bodyguard raise an eyebrow. The boss couldn't sit still and asked her why she was so sure. But upon meeting her innocent gaze, he walked over to the golf bag and started feeling around inside the golf club holder. Suddenly, his hand paused, and even his expression became somewhat strange. Then he took out the wad of money the woman had stuffed in and began questioning the bodyguard. The bodyguard quickly explained it wasn't him, but this time the boss didn't believe him and told him to sit on the chair. Helpless, the bodyguard had to comply. The boss then told the woman she was no longer needed and to leave quickly. As the woman listened, she backed away, then reached out to grab the blinds cord, and as she left, she pulled it down with force, bringing the entire blind down. At this moment, the boss also looked over. The woman, in a panic, picked up the blinds. Under everyone's gaze, she held the blinds with one hand and quickly organized her handbag with the other. Then, carrying the million in cash, she swaggered out of the office, her whole demeanor exuding the joy of surviving a disaster. When she got home, she leaned the blinds against the wall, took off her headphones while putting down her shoulder bag, and walked towards the living room, but suddenly jumped in shock. It turned out that the boss and the bodyguard were sitting on her sofa at home, asking her to quickly bring the money over. When he saw the woman standing still, the boss put away his smile, and then, with a teasing expression, came up to her and asked why she did it, but suddenly saw something. So he walked to the bookshelf, took a photo from it, and came up to the woman, asking if she was Donald's daughter. At this moment, the bodyguard also leaned over. The boss finally understood why the girl would steal his money. It turned out that he had once started a business with the woman's father, but due to various reasons, the venture failed, leaving her father as a debtor. But now that he had come, his plan ultimately couldn't be realized, so he should just hand over the money. After speaking, he instructed the bodyguard to open the blinds, while he enjoyed the feeling of the woman struggling in his grasp, but unable to escape. However, when the bodyguard opened the blinds, the boss did not see her dollars, so he asked the woman what those things were. The woman stopped pretending and said those were the evidence used to frame her father. The boss was shocked and quickly looked over, while the bodyguard examined them closely. The woman continued, saying that with this evidence, her father could clear his name and wash away the stains of these years. But unexpectedly, the boss suddenly laughed and mocked the woman for being too naive. After speaking, he looked at the bodyguard, and upon seeing him smile, he leisurely told him to quickly come over and hold the woman down. The bodyguard cooperatively walked over, but he held down the boss instead. This move left the girl bewildered, and the boss was also very confused. At this moment, the bodyguard told the woman to go open the door, and she quickly ran over. 2 FBI agents immediately came in and restrained the struggling boss. The bodyguard finally revealed his true identity. He had been undercover investigating the Donald case all along. Now is the time for the truth to come out. Take him away. The boss was dragged away by 2 FBI agents, cursing as he went. The bodyguard finally accomplished his mission, and the woman, still a bit in shock, walked up to the FBI agents. The man quickly explained everything he had done and assured her that he would help clear her father's name, so she should rest easy. As for the evidence, I must take it with me. The woman quickly raised both hands in agreement. Then as the man was ready to leave after gathering the evidence, he suddenly turned his head and asked the woman where all the money went. The woman slyly replied, "Of course, it went where it was supposed to go." The man smiled knowingly after hearing this, then wished her better days ahead. With this, the drama concludes, and the woman finally got everything she wanted, after many twists and turns.